You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 390, covering week 43, October 21st to 27th, 2024. IWD 3.0, iNet Wireless Daemon, developed by Intel as an alternative to the WPA supplicant toolkit for connecting Linux systems to a wireless network, is out. IWD can be used both independently and as a backend for the Network Configurator's Network Manager, Conman, or Systemd-NetworkD. The project is suitable for use on embedded devices and is optimized for minimal memory and disk space consumption. IWD does not use external libraries and only accesses the capabilities provided by the standard Linux kernel with help from glibc. It includes its own implementation of the DHCP client and a set of cryptographic functions. The project code is written in C and licensed under the LGPL v2.1 license. The new release adds support for external authentication mode on systems with chips based on the FullMAC architecture, which implies the implementation of the wireless stack on the chip firmware side, not the system driver. The external authentication mode can be used with drivers that do not support full processing of the simultaneous authentication of equals authentication protocol on the firmware side, and do not provide the cmd_associate and cmd_authenticate commands. In this case, the firmware can provide the cmd_external_auth command to use an external authenticator to process SAE frames in user space. The Minetest game engine has been renamed and will now be developed under the name Luonti. The name is a combination of the Finnish word luonti, or creation, with the name of the Lua programming language. The need for a renaming arose due to confusion caused by the similarity of the name Minetest to the name of the game Minecraft, which misled users and gave reason to think that the project was developing a clone of Minecraft, which it is not, nor is a test version. The project develops a free cross-platform sandbox game engine that allows you to create Minecraft-style games using various voxel blocks for players to jointly form various structures and buildings that form a semblance of a virtual world. The gameplay provided by the engine is entirely dependent on a set of mods created in Lua. The engine is written in C++ using the Irrlicht-MT 3D library. The code is distributed under the LGPL license, and the game resources are licensed under the CC BY-SA 3.0 license. SysViaNet 3.11 has been published. It was widely used in Linux distributions in the days before Systemd and Upstart, and now continues to be used in such distributions as Devuan, Debian GNU Hurd, and Anti-X. The code is written in C and is distributed under the GPL v2 license. The inserv utility is designed to organize the boot process, taking into account the dependencies between init scripts, and startpar is used to ensure parallel launch of several scripts during the system boot process. The new release implements the ability to link shell commands in the init tab file with logical operators, allowing you to launch a command only if the previous command completed successfully, or, conversely, to execute the next command only if an error code was returned when running the previous command. The developers of the Alma Linux project have published the first release of the new Kitten 10 distribution based on CentOS Stream 10. Kitten 10 is presented as a test distribution, allowing you to get acquainted with the capabilities being developed for RHEL 10, and is a precursor to the future stable release of Alma Linux 10. The installation assemblies of the distribution are made to the x86-64, x86-64v2, AArch64, PPC-64LE, and S390X architectures. The Kitten repository uses a rolling release model. The installation builds will be updated every 3 months. The Kitten repositories are used as an upstream for the Alma Linux 10 branch. Fixes and new features are first tested in the Kitten repositories and then pushed to Alma Linux, and are also used as a platform for integration and collaboration with upstream projects such as CentOS Stream and Fedora. Several new versions of cryptographic libraries have been published. OpenSSL 3.4.0 library release with implementation of SSL/TLS protocols and various encryption algorithms. OpenSSL 3.4 will be supported until October 2025. The project code is distributed under the Apache 2.0 license. Release of the LibreSSL 4.0.0 project, developing a fork of OpenSSL aimed at providing a higher level of security and higher quality support for SSL/TLS protocols by removing unnecessary functionality, adding additional security features, and conducting a significant cleaning and reworking of the code base. This version is just the next step from 3.9 and is backward compatible. Botan 3.6.0, a cryptographic library used in the NeoPG project, a fork of GNU PG2. The library provides a large collection of ready-made primitives used in the TLS protocol, X.509 certificates, AEAD ciphers, TPM modules, PKCS number 11, password hashing, and post-quantum cryptography. The library is written in C++ and is released under the BSD license. RustLS 0.23.15, developing client and server implementations of TLS 1.2 and TLS 1.3 protocols in Rust. RustLS does not provide its own implementation of cryptographic primitives, but uses pluggable providers of cryptographic functions. By default, RustLS uses a cryptographic provider based on the AWS-LC-RS library, which is developed by Amazon and is based on the C++ code of AWS-LC, forked from the Boring SSL project, in turn a fork from OpenSSL maintained by Google. The Ring library, partially based on Boring SSL and combining code in assembly, C++, and Rust, can also be used as a cryptographic provider. Valve has released a stable update to the SteamOS 3.6.19 operating system. The SteamOS 3 project is based on Arch Linux, uses the GameScape composite server based on the Wayland protocol to speed up game launches, comes with a read-only rootfs, uses an atomic update mechanism, supports Flatpak packages, uses a Pipeware multimedia server, and provides two interface modes, Steam Shell and Plasma Desktop. SteamOS releases are created only for Steam Deck devices, but enthusiasts develop unofficial builds, Steam Fork and HoloISO, suitable for installation on regular computers and gaming consoles other than Steam Deck. In addition, Valve has long promised to provide official builds of SteamOS 4 PC and is working on implementing support for consoles from other manufacturers. CozyStack 0.17.0, a free PaaS platform built on Kubernetes, has been published. The project aims to provide a ready-made platform for hosting providers and a framework for building private and public clouds. The platform is installed directly on servers and covers all aspects of preparing the infrastructure for providing managed services. CozyStack allows you to launch and provide Kubernetes clusters, databases, and virtual machines. The platform code is available on GitHub and is distributed under the Apache 2.0 license. Talos Linux and FluxCD are used as the base technology stack. Images with the system kernel and necessary modules are generated in advance and update atomically, which allows the user to do without components such as DKMS and a package manager, and guarantee stable operation. A simple installation method is provided in an empty data center using PXE and a Debian-like installer, Talos-Bootstrap. The platform includes a free implementation of the network infrastructure based on QBOVN and uses Cilium to organize the service network, MetalLB to announce services to the outside. The storage is implemented on LinStore, which suggests using ZFS as a base layer for storage and DRBD for replication. There is a pre-configured monitoring stack based on Victoria Metrics and Grafana. To launch virtual machines, KubeVirt technology is used, which allows you to launch classic virtual machines directly into Kubernetes clusters, and already has all the necessary integrations with the cluster API to launch managed Kubernetes clusters inside a hardware Kubernetes cluster. Vivaldi 7.0, using the Chromium engine, is out. Vivaldi builds are prepared for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. The changes made to the Chromium codebase are distributed by the project under an open license. The browser interface is written in JavaScript using the React library, the Node.js platform, Browserify, and various ready-made NPM modules. The implementation of the interface is available in source code but under a proprietary license. The browser is developed by former Opera Presto developers and aims to create a customizable and functional browser that preserves the privacy of user data. The main functions include a tracking and advertising blocker, note history and bookmark managers, private browsing mode, end-to-end encrypted synchronization, tab grouping modes, sidebar, configurator with a large number of settings, horizontal tab display mode, and a built-in mail client, RSS reader, and calendar in test mode. The developers of the Bitwarden Password Manager have translated the Bitwarden Secrets Manager SDK to the GPL v3 license. The SDK provides a set of bindings for various programming languages, allowing you to create extensions to the Password Manager and integrate the functionality and data models used in Bitwarden products into your programs. The client and server code was previously open-sourced on the GPL v3 and AGPL v3 licenses, but the SDK content was distributed under a proprietary license. A few weeks ago, the SDK was included in the build dependencies of the Bitwarden desktop client, which formally transferred the client part of the Bitwarden Password Manager to the category of proprietary software, since the SDK license prohibited its use for creating applications used with services other than Bitwarden. Bitwarden developers took note of the comment about the license issues and restructured the Bitwarden SDK codebase, as a result of which the main components of the SDK used in building and running the client software were transferred to the GPL v3 license and moved to the SDK-internal repository, and the old repository, which includes code for creating business products, was renamed to SDK-Secrets. Ubuntu Sway Remix 24.10 is available, providing a pre-configured and ready-to-use desktop based on the Sway tiled compositing manager. The distribution is an unofficial edition of Ubuntu 24.10, created with an eye on both experienced GNU Linux users and beginners who want to try an environment with a tiled window manager without the need for lengthy configuration. Builds for AMD 64 and ARM 64 Raspberry Pi architectures are available for download. The distribution environment is built on the basis of Sway, a compositing manager that uses the Wayland protocol and is fully compatible with the i3 window manager, as well as the Waybar panel, the PCMan-FM GTK3 file manager, and utilities from the NWG Shell project, the Azote desktop wallpaper manager, and several others, which automatically composes the windows of open applications in the manner of dynamic tiled window managers. The distribution includes programs with both a graphical interface, such as Firefox, Qt Browser, etc., and console applications and utilities, such as the MusicCube music player, MPV video player, and others. Another feature of the distribution is the complete refusal to use the Snap Package Manager. All programs are supplied as regular deb packages, including the Firefox web browser, for which the distribution uses the official Mozilla Team PPA repository. The installer is based on Calamares. TileOS 1.2 T-Rex is now available, a Debian-based distribution that offers a desktop environment for tiling window managers. TileOS follows the same goals as the Ubuntu Sway Remix distribution, is developed by the same author, and offers a ready-to-use interface that requires no additional configuration and is aimed at both experienced Linux users and beginners who want to try out a tiling window manager environment without spending a lot of time on setting it up. Unlike Ubuntu Sway Remix, TileOS is much more open to various changes and customizations, and is also free of any potential copyright issues. Builds for the AMD 64 architecture are available for download. Support for ARM 64, in particular Raspberry Pi boards, is planned. The source code of TileOS components is available on GitLab. TileOS focuses on window managers using the Wayland protocol. Editions with the Sway and River desktops are officially presented. Editions with SwayFX and Qtile are in development. The distribution uses the Debian stable package base, but various improvements and more recent versions of some software and graphics drivers are transferred from the testing branch. In addition, a number of fixes are included in the composition. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.